What's up, guys? We're gonna roll beats. Today I want to be showing you guys an easy method to get more official melodies. If you guys haven't subbed already or turned post notifications on, make sure you do so because it does help it a lot. Just hop right into it. So getting started, we can just go ahead and grab in a scale, and I'm gonna use like an A minor because it's like the most common, easiest scale that everybody can kind of relate to. It's all the white notes. All right, and first thing we could do is just start with our piano. So let's go ahead and put out some chords and stuff. All right, so for this next part to work, you need to follow these steps exactly in order. So don't do the chords before the bass notes. Don't do the bass notes before the melody. You have to do it in order. All right, and there's a reason for that. So we're gonna start with the bass notes. So in order to get some good bass notes, all you need to do is just stem it from chords. All right, so obviously you could just use the first chord in the scale, right? You can pull one down and then you can start moving stuff over. Right, but that's not it. You can use any chords within this scale. So we can start on the E. Use this E minor, pull it down for you. Right, you can use this as a start for your bass. Maybe pull this one down. Now you have like a bass line. So what we can do is start on A, and then we can go up, skip a note. And then instead of going all the way through, we can just start back on A and maybe go backwards like that. And that's just a different way. This is actually a F major. So let's go ahead and pull these out. And you can use any combo you want. All right. And I'm gonna just make these a little darker. Change the color. Well, not darker, but let's make it lower. All right, so that's our bass line. So let's move on to creating our chords now. All right, so now we have our chords. Now this is extremely easy because you already have the bones for your chords, right? Do an F and then you could just pull it in. And I'm gonna use a different, actually let's do something like this. All right, so I'm gonna use yellow for this. So we have F, so let's just go up to F and let's make, just keep going up, right? So you skip every other note within the scale. So there's gonna be an F sharp and we could do a 7th, right? If you wanna be lazy, you can come up to stamps and you can type in, or not type in, but you can just click one and then you can have your chords here. A, okay, so we are in A minor. So we know that the root is a minor chord. So let's go to A. All right, and then if you want to be lazy, actually, you could do something like this, right? You can use this C. Where's the C at? Now this C is actually pretty high. All right, so I would probably pull this down. You could do that, or if you want to be lazy, you could literally just use the same chord, right? So those are the chords. That's how you make them. And let me kind of split these up so you can see. All right, and let's go ahead and animate these. All right, so next up we have animating. Now this part is very, very important, especially if you want your melody to sound unique and if you want the melody to be easy later. So there's two ways I like to animate, and that is with the wiggle and the strum. So a lot of y'all already know what this is. So wiggle is going from one note to another note, back to the same note. So a pattern like this, and it could be right here. And it doesn't have to be on the same notes. Like you can change these notes up, but just this pattern works. And you can also change the timings too. All right, you can flip it. All right, so now we have the strum. Pretty self-explanatory. You just strum it or strum down. All right, so what I like to do here first is take one of these notes, and it could be any one. It could be the top one, but I like to use this second to the top note. Right, just one of these mid notes. And this is how I kind of figure out where I want to put my wiggle. So I'm thinking somewhere right here, and that's just where I feel it should be. So I'm gonna copy this and we can make our wiggle, and let's change the color. And you can literally just copy this over. Now we could also copy this over here. But I just want to show y'all how, if you want to make the wiggle over here, So what we could do is pull this back, and I just want to show you real quick. Let's turn this into a 7th. So we have a full chord. So if you want to do it here, same thing, but just take this same like pattern, but apply it here. So we offset, and then we can just copy this, put it at the C, and adjust the note. Now, sometimes it won't land on good notes, but if you get lucky, it'll sound great every time. So let's play it. All right, so you can apply this to any chord. Just gotta be careful because some notes won't sound good. But I'm gonna just make this easier. And we can just literally copy this pattern all the way over. And let's make these longer, just kind of bleed them. All right, and then we can add maybe this G somewhere. Just make it sound a little bit different. All right, let's see what that sounds like from here. Right, just so it's not the same all the way through. All right, so that's the animating part, and we can just leave it like that. Let's go ahead and actually build our melody now from here. All right, so now we have the melody. Now we can combine everything we learned before to create the melody. So we can combine the wiggle and the strum together, right? And I'm just trying to show y'all methods you can use to start your melodies. So how do we start our melody, right? What note do we put? You can use any notes in between here, right? So this is your range. But what I like to do is the first note that I mess with, so the C, I like to start with that one and just to see if that one sounds good. So we can pull this up. All right, so it's not bad. So now we can do a quick wiggle. All right. And then if you want to, you can strum it. So I don't think this needs to be a super crazy melody. So we can do a strum like this. So we're kind of combining the strum with the wiggle, right? So it's going back to other notes and coming back to the same note. All right. Okay, so maybe let's skip this note. So all I'm doing is just creating a chord backwards, right? Maybe let's see what this would sound like. All right, and let's come back to this note. So we're doing a wiggle again. All right, you can see how important that is. And then let's actually just create a chord up. So we pretty much, and we're gonna do the strum method now. So let's offset it a little bit. And let's see how that sounds. We could probably just come back and you can see how the wiggle, if you really look, you can see the wiggle is happening a lot. Where else can we, let's pull this C back in. Try to make sure everything's on screen. Okay, and let's play it from here. All right, and I want to add another note. So I'm gonna maybe pull one of these over and let's see what that sounds like. All right, and that is our melody. So this is everything we did. And if you follow these steps exactly every time, of course, with making your own melody, you can come up with some good melodies. And let's just paste this, copy and paste this here. All right, so now what we're gonna do is pretty much make it into a sample, and then I'm gonna show you effects you can use to make it sound a little bit better. All right, so I went ahead and added some effects just so we can have something to work with. And what we need to do is turn this to a sample, so we can right click to the pattern and go to quick render as audio clip and just let it do its thing. And now we should have our sample. All right, let me make this a little bit larger. And this part can be very easy. Now I've loaded up some effects that are just very basic, but I'm gonna show you some things you can use. All right, so let's go to gross beat, and pretty much I just use the default. Like all this is default, okay? So with gross beat, you just pretty much do the half speed, all right? And I'm gonna play one by one. so you can kind of see the thought process. So we have this little halftime. Now with this, that is super low. So what I like to do is go to this pitch knob, and you can kind of pitch it up. I usually do about 300 to 500 cents, and it's pretty much, well, I'll go over that later, but we're gonna be changing the scale and the pitch, so we'll need to be finding the key later too. So all right, sounds pretty good. So now let's go here. We have the convolver, right? And this is gonna add, it's pretty much like a reverb, pretty much, just with more features. All right, so now if you want to make your melody rappable, you put this EQ and you want to cut out the lower frequencies and the higher ones and kind of muffle it, right? Right, and how much you muffle it is up to you. And then I just add this delay, okay, and this is at 4. And I just use the delay to add a little bounce to it. All right, so those are the effects, and that's all you really need. So now what we can do is actually find the key to our new sample. All right, so now we have our sample, and the reason we add all those effects is just to make it sound more official, which really just means adding character to your melody. So you can see here, it sounds super dry. And it's too in your face. So we add all these effects to kind of mesh it together, so that it just works better in the beat. And we have this now. All right. So now I'm gonna show you how to find the key, since we manipulated this and changed the pitch. You can use this method to find the key of anything. So let's go to pattern 2, and then I'm gonna just go on this piano part. There's 2 patterns you need to know. So you need to know the minor pattern and the major pattern. You don't need to know the whole scale, but this is the minor pattern, and then this is the major pattern, right? And what you want to do is, once you find a note that sounds good, you want to try these patterns. So you want to build them out and see if they are in harmony with your melody. I'll move these over a little bit. So let's play it, and gotta go to song. So we could try this one, for example. So this note doesn't sound too good, so we could try a different one. We could try this major pattern now. All right, so that doesn't sound good either. So this C actually sounded pretty good. So what we could do is start on the C and try the minor pattern here. All right, so now we know it's either a C minor, right? If we build this out, it's either a C minor, or this could be a D sharp major. Now, how do I know that? Is because if you move 3 notes up from this C, so 1, 2, 3, all right, you'll hit the major scale. Okay, now I don't want to go deep into music theory, but that's just a quick little tip if you want to know. And if you want to go from the major to the minor, you just go down 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, and that's just quick. I don't want to go into detail on that. All right, so now we could use the C minor, or we could use the D major. I'm gonna use the D major because we don't really use major that often. So let's pull in the D sharp major. All right, so now what we're gonna do, since we know how to do the key, we're gonna add another melody to this. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so now what we're gonna do is basically just add a melody to our sample. So this is really easy because you don't want to start off too crazy. Like, you don't want to do a whole bunch of notes, right? You just want to stick with one note. So with that information we had earlier, you could use the C or the D sharp, which is the root. So we can start on the root, and you could just build a melody from this, right? Right, and you can kind of go with that, or you can do something like this. Right, anything will work here. But what I like to do is just start off very slow and build it up slowly instead of trying to do crazy melodies at first. So I'm gonna pick a note that I like. So I like this C. And then if we build a chord out from this C, we can maybe, let's use one of these notes for some range. All right. All right, so now we have just 4 notes, and that's pretty easy. So what we could do, we could just pull some of these up and mess around. And then let's pull this one down. You can see we're starting to build it out. And let's see, we can maybe pull this one over. We can use this D here. And you can see I'm trying on purpose to make this easy, right? But really, if I was making my own beat, I would be trying different melodies and stuff. And let's use this G. Pull that up. Let's use this A sharp, and we built the melody with just 4 notes pretty much. All right, let's play this. Pull this down. Nothing crazy, but it's something that you can kind of get started to add. So I'm gonna leave this how it is, and we can go ahead and start making a beat. All right, so now we have the 808. Now this is gonna be different because we don't have a bass line to pull in or copy in, right? So we have to kind of use our ears now since we manipulated our sample and stuff. So what I like to do is you could just kind of double the 808, and this is gonna help you listen to the tone so you can kind of hear which note you like the best. So I'm gonna just play it. So this could work because this is technically the root, but I'm not feeling that note too much. Okay, so I kind of like that one. And I like to do this to start out, and then we can take stuff away. So I'm gonna do this, and then let's try that C. Let's go down. And let's move up to maybe this D sharp. So now what we could do is we could take stuff away, and I'm gonna just go ahead and start manipulating this. I'm gonna try to keep it simple, and maybe we could do 2 here. All right, and there we have our bass line. So now let's play it. All right, simple as that. So let's go ahead and actually do our kick and the rest of our drums. All right, so let's do the drums, and I went ahead and just added the clap. That's super simple. So I'm gonna just manually do the kick. So let's just go in, we go to the C5, and I'm gonna just listen to where I want this to be, and I'm gonna double mine up like this, just so it has a little bit more thump. All right, and I want to do it this way so it has a little bit more bounce rather than putting it every time on the 808. So and I don't have to think too much about this. All right, and then we can go to the hi-hats, and I don't know, let's maybe turn that down a bit. So I'm gonna try to zoom in. All right. I actually want this to be a little bit faster. Let's chop that one. And really, I'm just trying to do this part because I know a lot of people want to see the drums. So I'm just trying to like take my time a little bit. Then we can pull this. We don't have to do too much. Let's actually put a thirds here. So let's go up here, 1/3, put a thirds right there, and just finish it out. And then I'm going to pull those in. All right, it doesn't have to be anything super crazy. And we could put a like hi-hat roll somewhere right here. Let's go back to our grid. All right, so those are the hi-hats, and now we can just add some of these little drums in to kind of finalize it. All right, and I think that's pretty good. So here's the beat. I'm gonna just play it one more time through. Right, and of course I gotta do a little bit of mixing and stuff, but that's it for this video. Hopefully this helped out. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.